I'm Dave Gray, and this week I learned um I have completely made a massive metal head of my niece.
Yay.
Yay!
Yay. Hi, I'm Craig, film enjoyer in England, and we have been recording for literally about 30 seconds, and I've already been accused of sexual heavy breathing by Dave. It's political what is it? What's they call it? Political
correctness gone mad.
Political correctness gone mad. I've had a beer. Apologies. I've had one beer.
We're 2 minutes in, and you were like, you got Kevin all squirrely. All right, please.
I'm Tyler Hosley, and I really like Craig's sexual breathing. It's nice.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't a judgment. I just don't want other people to hear. That's for us. That's
It's
our
very
breathing,
comforting.
Gray.
Okay.
It's very comforting.
Yay.
I'm Kevin Matthews, and I also enjoyed Craig's sexual heavy breathing. I didn't complain about it. I was just needing time to finish. And this is Raiders of the Podcast.
Yay!
I saw a few things this week. Not as many good things as I would like, but I saw some stuff. Have any of you guys got any interest in seeing Materialists?
No.
No.
Is that the Pedro Pascal, Dakota
that-
Johnson one?
Yes. I thought you were just
Yeah,
going to say, is
yeah,
that the
I'll watch
Pedro
it.
Pascal movie? I was going to be like,
I mean, if
that narrows
he
it down to
stopped
20
at Pedro
this month.
Pascal, we'd all be interested. But then he added Dakota Johnson, and three of us know better.
Yeah. I actually like Dakota Johnson in non-Spider-Verse roles usually, and I didn't mind this, but I saw the advertising for this and thought, is Celine Song just doing past lives again? Like, is that what this is? And it's not that. But then I've seen and heard people mentioning it as a rom-com, and I don't think it has the rom or the com. And it's very like it's still good, but not very good, because Song is quite muddled in what she wants to say, although there's a lot to be mined from obviously the world of modern dating and how people, essentially commodify one another when they're looking for traits in potential partners. So it's got that. I think Johnson is quite good in a role that, generally fits her well. Chris Evans has to be Chris Evans-like on screen, and he does that well. And then Pedro Pascal, turned up because it was another movie being released this month. So they're all fine in terms of like being there, but I think Song lets them down with the script, and there are at least one or two moments that are so kind of like difficult to judge in terms of genuinely they could be trying to sort of either pluck at your heartstrings or be thought-provoking, or trying to be so ridiculous that they're kind of funny. And that's because of how they are sort of juxtaposed with the other scenes and the rest of the tone of the movie. It's wild. So when you see it, Tyler, I will be interested to hear what you say. Did you like Past Lives?
I did. I like Past Lives a lot.
And you like Dakota Johnson?
I don't dislike her like many people
Yeah.
do. I think she's just, she's not great, but I don't dislike her.
I mean...
It's his polite way of not telling us which implement you would use to eat which food out of which body cavity.
We watched one of her movies and told us explicitly.
I did.
Oh, what was it? Can you remember?
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
No, I mean, what were you eating out of which body cavity with which implement?
Oh.
Oh shit!
It's
I have
not
to.
really-
There's a lot of references of ass eating with me. I have to
It
go back.
was fondue out the back door with a, you know,
With a
That-
paper
no,
straw from McDonald's. It
that
was
might
pretty
have been
grim.
it. That does sound right. Yeah.
Tyler just has like 3 scrolls of paper. One is his favorite actresses' names, one is foodstuffs, and one is just body parts. That's it. So, like those mix and match games you used to play when you were young, or a pervert like Tyler.
I wasn't going to say that. You're taking it too far now, Kevin.
He knows. He knows.
I do.
And I went along to watch Freakier Friday. Because why not? I'm a grown man who thinks, well, it could be all right. And you know what? It was. I think, I think some of us will enjoy this one. I don't think it's as good as Freaky Friday. I think I want to say the first third was a bit worrying for me when I thought, could I have just waited for this to turn up on Disney Plus? Because it feels very much like a Disney Channel movie. And, I didn't mean a glossy movie that lands on Disney Plus. I was on about an old school Disney Channel movie. Every scene's got enough bright primary colours in it to keep people happy. The soundtrack and the score just keep going, keeping things lively. And I was worried. Then it improves pretty much when you get the usual body swap, and everyone is good. Like I've always generally liked Lohan in films. She's had her bumps in her career, but she's often still been really good. Jamie Lee Curtis is having fun again, but it helps that the newcomers are good as well. Julia Butters plays Lohan's daughter, Harper, and Sophia Hammonds plays a young British girl called Lily. Harper and Lily don't get out of school, and that's when Lindsay Lohan meets Lily's father, who's played by Manny Jacinto. Is I think who pronounce it. It's the dude from The Good Place.
Yes, love that guy.
Yes, and he's very much just a standard handsome man here who you can believe that Lohan falls in love with. So they have this romance, and the daughters who are going to be step siblings don't get on, and eventually body swap shenanigans ensue. I liked it when it got to that, and the second half plays out like a lot better. You get Chad Michael Murray coming back as well. Tyler has read about the reappearance of the band for a moment.
Mhm.
It's just good. I think it gives you everything that you would want from what you remember about Freaky Friday, which I think was 2003. What I say, and then it is just a step removed enough for newcomers to enjoy it. Like it's not complicated. You know what I mean? At one point in the film, two characters can say, "Well, oh, this happened to us before," and then the younger one's like, "What do you mean?" And that's it. You get enough to go on. You don't have to, have read a dozen books of background information for this. I thought it was fun. It was a solid Kevin 7. It was better than what was that? Was it Family Switch? I
No
think
one
it's just called
remembers,
Family
Kevin.
Switch.
No one remembers.
I mean, I watched Family Switch thinking, yeah, that'll be easy fun, and that was bad. Like I reviewed it for my blog today with it being Friday, and I forgot to mention how bad Family Switch is.
You
in
went into a
comparison.
movie starring Ed Helms and you went, that'll be good fun. You are in denial of reality.
I didn't go to that. That was a Netflix.
You-
Shall we just stick this on this evening
You
choice?
need to lay off the herbal supplements, my boy. obviously it is rotted things. You saw Ed Helms and went, "Yes, please, Netflix, give it to me. Put it in my eyeballs."
And last but not least, I finally watched The Iron Claw, and I
Oh,
get the feeling everyone else has seen this
Yeah,
already anyway.
it's
yeah.
very good and also just crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd finished season 4 of The Bear, which I really liked. I think that remains really good stuff. I've seen other people who were swithering on it. So for some reason, I remember Jeremy Allen White was in The Iron Claw, and I like Zac Efron anyway. I didn't realize one of the other brothers was Harris Dickinson. Like, fantastic. Holt McElhenney, he plays the dad, so it was like that's a bonus as well. It's just a really good, pretty stacked cast. The females, the main ones played by Lily James and Maura Tierney, they don't get as much to do, but I think it feels like a kind of for obvious reasons because of it looking at what they view as this cursed family or this lineage, and it tends to be affecting the males and affecting their sort of mental state because of a mixture of their own pressures and external pressures and just the stuff they get involved with. I really liked it. It sets a stall out very early on. Like, as soon as it spends that much time just showing you Zac Efron getting up in the morning, I was like, Jesus, you would just break me like a toothpick for how much he's bulked up for this role. And I was impressed by everyone in it really feeling, committed to the roles in a way that that is needed for the physicality of it and the that feeling of real blood, sweat, and tears through every parts of her life. So yeah, I liked it. It's a lot to. I think in general, it's just a lot to handle. It is quite dour is the word I would use, but also like just really, really worth your time for those performances and the whole thing. So everyone else really liked it.
Yes, very much so. It was in my top 10 of last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my whole top 10, not my, made me want to shoot myself in the face top 10. I'm a general top 10.
Always being quiet. Is that because there wasn't room for Dakota Johnson to have a role in it?
Which one was it?
The Iron Claw.
Oh, I love the Iron Claw. Yeah, that movie
Oh,
was
right, okay.
yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that movie fucking broke me too. That fucking
You-
last scene, man.
You gotta love any movie that's based on such a depressing true story. They had to cut someone out because then it would have just been too much.
I
Yeah,
remember hearing
that's
that
funny.
at the time, but for some reason, when I was watching it just now, I misremembered, and I'm thinking, which brother did they add in? Because I thought they'd added a brother where less awful stuff maybe happened to him in comparison to all the rest. I'm like, which one's the character they added in? And of course, then it's as you say, like they cut someone out. So it's just like, yeah, this is too bleak. Wow. And that was me. Other than a whole load of Jaws goodness and badness ready for a special time on Sunday.
2 actors you've enjoyed this week, I'd say, are people who started out quite young, who should enjoy Lohan should enjoy a Lohan-essence, I'm going to call it. And God damn it, what's his name?
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron. They're both very, very talented, and one got chewed up a lot more, but they're both actors I want good things for, because they're just, some people are just naturally talented, and I think both of them are.
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember why. I think it was just a sense of completism or whatever. I ended up finally watching a High School Musical movie, and seeing Zac Efron for the first time do all the stuff that he can do on screen, like he's great with comedy, the singing, the dancing. He had some basketball moves. I was like, yeah, this guy, this boy at the time was like, he looks like he has everything he needs to be a fully rounded entertainer. If
he turned up fully formed.
Yeah.
But I also think, those films he was so good in, they were a barrier as well, weren't they, for him to get past into more adult roles.
I think he's done pretty well to be going along. I know he's spoken of times where he's I think he might have been drinking too much for a while and had some issues, but he seems to have got through that while he was still working, whereas Lohan obviously had a few more gaps. But I agree. I would always root for them both. Anyway.
Well, I haven't seen Freakier Friday yet, but I did watch the 2003 movie again this week. I know it doesn't seem like a movie that I would normally love, but I really love this one a lot. It's so early 2000s. It makes my heart just so happy. Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis are wonderful together. I mean, they are so good in this. I love Lindsay Lohan. I always have. I've loved her since The Parent Trap. When I was a kid, I loved her in that movie. Parent Trap that's another great remake that she did. But I've always thought she was super, super talented. And Jamie Lee Curtis is always great. And she's great. But I love the soundtrack to this movie. If Pink Slip was a real band, I'd own every CD and vinyl. I promise. They were so good. Take Me Away is a fucking banger of a song. Just it's so good. I really like that the girl that's in it. I think her name is Christina Vidal. I think she's the singer of Pink Slip. I really like her a lot too. She was in See No Evil, which is like a slasher movie that I seem to be the only person that loves with Kane. But I love that movie, and she's really good in that. But yeah, Freaky Fridays. That is such a good early 2000s comedy. Just really enjoy that one. And besides that, I finished Hightown, all 3 seasons. Maybe it's my love of lesbian addicts and strippers, but I love the show so much. I can't remember the last time I binged a show that fast. I mean, it was over in a fucking blink. So yeah, I loved Hightown. It might be one of the best shows I've seen on Netflix in many, many years. I don't think it was a Netflix original. I think it was Stars, but it's really good, and I fucking love that show. And that's pretty much me for the week.
I saw this year's Ari Aster film, Eddington. I always do the Ari Aster because at home I keep calling him Ari Aster in this real annoying Cockney voice because it really irritates my wife. But now I can't pronounce it because I'm so used to giving it the Ari Aster's Eddington, which is really good. I really enjoyed it. It's a very strange, almost Coen Brothers-esque dark comedy western where everybody in the film is so reprehensible that the white hat of the film is COVID-19 by default. Like, just unpleasant people. But in particular, Joaquin Phoenix is just, he's awful, and yet weirdly you can't help but kind of, but you're behind him to a degree, just because shit just goes so wrong for the man. It's really tightly wound. It's very funny. It's absurdly violent in a couple of moments. I really liked it, and I look forward to watching it again because there is a lot going on there. There's a political side, which is who is it who benefits from these culture wars that the working class are always involved in, and you know who it is. But it also talks about why people involve themselves in culture wars. You know, the way that people let their insecurities kind of create their identities and then end up kind of pushing for things they don't even really believe in, and it's just kind of sad. And yeah, it's really good. I really recommend Eddington. It's probably at the moment my least favourite Harry, but I'm going to watch it as soon as I can, and we'll see. We'll see if that leaps up. It might overtake Beau is Afraid, but Hereditary is untouchable. I saw Heart Eyes. It was going cheap on Amazon, so I thought I'd give it a go. I wasn't massively keen, but then I noticed it was directed by Josh. Oh, God damn it! I can't remember his name, but he was the director of Josh Rubin, I think. He directed Scare Me, which I think I'm the only person who loves Scare Me as much as I love Scare Me. I fucking loved that film. He made that. I loved it. He made Werewolves Within. I did not like that. So this is a bit of a return to form for him. I thought it was the romance was very cute. The leads were excellent. It was very funny. Like slasher movies can have comedy and they can have romance, but they'll have weak comedy and lousy romances. Whereas the romance works. The comedy is very funny. It's really just a horror element that can't keep up with the comedy romance elements. I mean, they're fine. There's some good kills. There's some vaguely suspenseful scenes. But, by the time it gets to the third act, I was kind of over it. And the third act is the weakest part of the film by miles. I mean, the villains are fairly terrible. They die well, but they're fairly terrible. And I don't know. I wish it had stuck the landing more. But, I really like both leads. And I would happily watch a sequel, which I assume there's going to be. Everyone's seen Heart Eyes, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought everybody Scared Me though. I thought that was one of those ones that came out and everybody was like, "Oh, this is a blast." And was I wrong?
I remember Kevin and Linus teasing me mercilessly for my love of Scare Me.
I'm not
that merciless, but I was said it was like my favourite film of the year, and they kind of looked at me queer, but over the internet, I could tell they were looking at me funny.
I believe I was very much in the minority with how much I disliked Scare Me. Like, I assumed most other people really liked it, though. If not as much as you, Greg. I think it was generally well liked.
I did have like an extra level of love for that one. I really, really like it. And then my stepson, he watches Japanese films, a lot of South Korean films. He likes a wide range, but he likes some like ultra violence, some like really absurd ultra violence that you really only get from Asian action films. Just Timo and all those other sickos. So I thought I would introduce you to arguably the most violent American film ever made, which is 2008's Rambo, and it's a thing of beauty. It's if you're looking for any subtlety, nuance, a decent story, a decent supporting cast. It hasn't got any of that. But what it does have is just the most insane vibe. I didn't realise I'd seen the extended version before, and the extended version is actually the tamer version, whereas the theatrical is insane. There's a part around the middle where they are just bayoneting children, hurling them onto a fire, and it is like unbelievably violent. And then in the first, it is just Sylvester Stallone turning people into paint with a 50 caliber machine gun. It's magnificent. Like there's that part where he pops up behind the guy who's on the 50 caliber gun. He decapitates him and then turns it around and shoots the driver and just turns him into soup. And it's just one of the most beautiful moments in the history of cinema, as far as I'm concerned. Very, very silly. I kind of wish that not only had Stallone stopped Rambo here, I wish he had just stopped all of it. Just retire after this one, because this was, this was a retirement movie. This was there you go, a gift from me. But
you and everyone else but Jason Statham.
Well, yeah, especially No Expendables, man. Because I watched the first one and thought, well, that was okay, but it was all promise. The second one, though, Van Damme, that one would be great, and it was even worse. Each one worse than the one before. Even though Van Damme was magnificent, the second film, they just keep going down a hill, and what a thing to fuck up. Unbelievable.
Did you like Last Blood?
I did not. The third act
No
had
one
some
liked
kind of
Last Blood.
okay bits. I just he's so racist. He's like, we're going back to America. Oh, bad guys, Mexicans. Okay, Sly. You know, yeah. But Rambo 2008 is fucking. It's beautiful. Everyone likes that one, yeah. Even Dave. Even Dave's
Oh,
got to
yeah.
love a bit of.
Yeah, of course.
Just beautiful annihilation. Yeah, that's me for the week.
I also watched very little because I went to Otakon and saw cosplays and Baby Beard play. But I did watch because Crunchyroll finally put up the two missing Rascal Does Not Dream films. So I watched those, and if you've watched Rascal Does Not Dream, you should go watch them. If you haven't, me saying to go watch them would be meaningless because that means you'd also have to watch the series and the other film and then the current series, and you don't want to do that. I mean, I want you to do that. It's good stuff, but you're not gonna do that. So I also went back and finally finished Wotakoi Love is Hard for Otakus, the 2020 live action version, which I adore the comic book and the animated series, but the live action film is a piece of shit, and everyone involved should be, absolutely ashamed of themselves. Just I don't know how you get something so well done and sweet natured that's been done well repeatedly and then just kind of shit on it and wipe your ass on it. But there we are. Yay. This week we saw the 1957 British horror film by Hammer Productions, The Curse of Frankenstein, and the 1983 British drama, The Dresser. Hey, Craig?
Yeah.
Would you like to pick a movie and tell us about it?
Oh no, I'm as way behind the times as usual, but I finally watched all of the first season of The White Lotus.
Ooh.
I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, such a good show.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Season 2 might be my favorite.
It's just difficult because they're generally all meant to be quite unlikable, aren't they? And you are stuck with them for 6 45-minute episodes or something. Especially Jake Lacey. I mean, he does so well at being that absolute prick.
Yay.
I can imagine you just rage watching the whole season, Tyler, being like, "Don't you treat Alexandra Daddario like that, you son of a bitch."
Nice.
You're not
that
worthy
was such
to
a
be
good
pinned
show.
in the eye with her bra strap.
Pick a movie and tell us about it.
Okay, well, I will go with the Curse of Frankenstein, which is Dave's pick. Yay! Last time we did a Hammer film on the show, I made a terrible confession because I'm a big horror guy, but I'm not a big fan of Hammer, and I have thought since my early teens I had to pretend I liked Hammer because it was so central to. It was like being into metal and saying, "Oh, I love Motorhead." You kind of had to say that you do, even if maybe you don't. But I got it out and I said, I'm not a big Hammer fan, but there are some that I like. And Curse of Frankenstein was top. It was my favorite Hammer, which I hadn't seen it for a while, but I just remember I just had very, very fond memories of it, and I was looking forward to watching it again. And I mostly feel the same. Mostly, I have issues, but it's mostly positive. I mean, the best part of it is Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing is immense in this film. I don't know if people do. Well, no, I know what geeks are like, so they probably ask silly questions like, "Oh, who's a better actor, like Cushing or Lee? Or who's the greatest Frankenstein ever, or Dr. Frankenstein ever?" And you can answer both of those very easily. It's Peter Cushing.
It's Peter Cushing.
He is the best Dr. Frankenstein of all time. He is the definitive Baron von Frankenstein. And as much as I love, God damn it. One beer, and I'm forgetting the name of goddamn Dracula.
Christopher
Christopher Lee.
There you go.
I love Christopher Lee. hugely commanding presence. He is, he is an icon as well. But as an actor, like Peter Cushing leaves him in the dust as far as I'm concerned. Peter Cushing contains multitudes. He is such a fantastic actor, and he never gets, as a genre actor, praise that he deserves, because he is fantastic and a really fantastic Dr. Frankenstein. Like, there are moments in this film where simultaneously, in just the tiny little, in his physicality, he shows this kind of the pathos and the dark comedy there. He can do camp, he can do melodrama, but there's so much tragedy as well. It is so much in there. I think he's an actor of great subtlety, which he never ever seems to get as much credit for as he deserves, which is a real shame. The rest of the cast, Christopher Lee is very good. The actor who played young Dr. Frankenstein, the rest of the cast I can do without. I don't care. And that's kind of my issue with this film is my issue with... They seem to have spent money on the set. It's like they have money, but they also seem to take any elements of these stories that they think might either cost too much or harm their marketability, and they kind of gut these stories a little bit. Like, there's a very soap opera kind of feel to some of the non-Frankenstein stuff in this film. It just kind of, it feels like it's just filling time, or just, it's a way to market it to different audiences. I have my issues with it, but every time Dr. Frankenstein, every time Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee are on screen, it's absolutely fantastic. But especially every moment Cushing's, he had me like cackling. He's so like subtly funny. There's a moment where his previous night's work has contained such horrors, and then it cuts to him at a dinner table, like, and he passed me a marmalade, and his delivery of it is so like beautifully like I said, tragic and comic at the same time. So good. I think narratively, I don't think it's as good as it could be if they really like pushed to stick closer to the original story. And I want the narrative to have the tragedy and the pathos that Cushing gives the role. But ultimately, it is a very good film. The costumes are great, the sets are great, that score is beautiful. I don't think the story is quite strong enough to match up to Cushing's. Just, Cushingness is magnificent performance, because he really is wonderful. And as I said, the best Dr. Frankenstein ever. People will argue about Dracula, they'll say, oh, Lugosi or Oldman or whatever. They'll argue about it. I mean, it is Christopher Lee, but they will argue about it. I don't think there are many arguments about who the greatest Dr. Frankenstein on screen is. It's Peter Cushing, and I love him. So it's a masterpiece of a performance in a solid film.
I'll follow on from that then, because I agree with the general love for everything anyway. I've always said, if Peter Cushing's in something, it gets a bonus point. If Christopher Lee's in something, it gets a bonus point. If the two of them are in together, then that's 2 bonus points, obviously. But Peter Cushing has always been, in my estimation, a bit better than Lee as well. Because I think Cushing could he could just be a bit more versatile, because Lee had his, he couldn't help having his presence when he walked into a room when he became well known. I think that worked against him for things. They're great, and I don't think it's a Hammer film. It might be Amicus or Tygon. There's a weird little horror called The Creeping Flesh. I think Lee's in that as well, but Cushing's in it, and it's really good. And I'm going to drop that as a little weird recommendation. But from all the Hammer films, the Frankenstein films are the best altogether if you want to group them into, a thematically linked series. The lowest I rank any of them, I think, is a 6. And even the one I like the least is like there's still so much other stuff in it that helps me bump up my rating again. Otherwise, I would drag it down further. I don't know if you would agree, Dave. It's Frankenstein must be destroyed, which twists the character a bit too much for me.
Yeah, I get that. I get that argument. I do.
But there's fun to be had in them all. And Cushing, from his first time playing the role, he really relishes it, and he's a great fit for it, because I think in the best of the Frankenstein films, particularly Hammer, he has this mix of the bad things stem from his arrogance and believing that he will create the ultimate good, and be the ultimate defeater of death, which will help cure illness and do all these good things, but it leads to all the bad things. He's so arrogant and bloody minded that he'll just keep going with it, and that's in the movies. I've unfortunately, much to Dave's surprise, I've still never read the source material, so I'm not entirely sure if the character is the same there, but it's certainly feels that way considering the incarnations of him on screen. Terence Fisher is a great pair of hands for directing this. Jimmy Sangster was a really good writer for Hammer, and also did one or two of his own films, if I remember rightly. Was it Sangster that directed The Nanny? Because I really like The Nanny. And for some
Sangster did
reason,
so much.
I always think of him with that, or maybe he just maybe he just wrote it.
He didn't write. He only directed 3. He directed The Horror of Frankenstein, Lust for a Vampire, and I think Fear in the Night. I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
He
Yeah,
wrote
that rings a bell.
I think he wrote all the big ones.
I mean,
because I know he wrote The
Nanny's an
Nanny.
absolute, that's brilliant. I think that's when I first took note of his name separate, because for many years I just associated Hammer with Terence Fisher and what is he, Freddie Francis? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I don't even have Craig's excuse of one beer this evening, but my brain's going. And eventually I took notice of Sangster's name attached to a lot of projects and a lot of stuff I liked. So this is a great combination behind the camera, Cushing in front of the camera. It's weird to see a young Melvin Hayes as young Victor Frankenstein. You probably didn't get it over in America, but here, decades ago, there was a weird show called Ain't Half Hot Mum, and Melvin Hayes was in that. Like, he was quite a popular sitcom face because of his role in that, and I'm sure he'd done other lighter roles. But here he's all right. A guy's quite just cocky and cocksure as young Victor. Lee isn't too bad as the creature, actually, and I quite like the makeup effects on him here. I like the look of this incarnation of the creature. I think it's nicely macabre without being completely overdone. I think it works really well. But everyone else, they could flitter about, and you're just waiting to see if they'll be imperiled or if they'll go to safety. They're not bad. Hazel Court as Elizabeth, she's not bad. Robert Urquhart as Paul, he's not bad. But you're waiting to get back to a sneer from Peter Cushing, or seeing how he will deal with whoever just wants to take their chance and get in his way. of his, mighty noble quest. I think it's brilliant. It's one of the best of the series. But as I say, for Hammer movies, like I don't think you would go too far wrong if you just lined up all the Frankenstein movies and made a jolly good day of it.
Yeah, I really like this one a lot. It actually might be one of the best Frankenstein films for me personally. I think it's great. It looks amazing. I mean, those colors, man. I mean, that's some truly just eye-popping shit. Gorgeous to look at. Also, that laboratory set is incredible. All the set pieces are so good in this too. I mean, the costumes look wonderful. It's got a really good atmosphere. It's always nice and foggy, giving it that perfect gothic atmosphere. Christopher Lee looks fantastic in the makeup. I love Frankenstein. The Frankenstein and his makeup in this. It's so fucking good. Peter Cushing is fantastic. I mean, he's when is he not though? I mean, Peter Cushing is just he's wonderful and he's fantastic in this. Um, but the pacing is perfect for a 50s film. Usually the 1950s for me, they seem to lag in the middle for just in that era of cinema, the pacing just seems to lag, but this one goes by super quick. I mean, Terrence Fisher directs the shit out of this one too. I don't know. I keep looking for flaws to nitpick and I didn't really write down a single flaw. It's really good. It's a really fucking good Frankenstein flick with a brilliant cast. I really enjoy this one.
Well, I mean, I agree with you guys. I absolutely adore Hammer's Frankenstein films. I think they're the best things Hammer put out as a whole. I mean, there's some individual standalones I might enjoy a little bit better, but we're talking about, like any given Sunday kind of stuff, like a point here or there if I'm in a mood. Uh I really like a lot of the cast. I agree that Melvin Hayes is a solid young Victor. His scenes are really solid. Secondary folks that pop up are all pretty good. Hazel Court is given like fuck all to do except kind of, be doughy eyed at everyone and
Wear
not
amazing
have a clue
costumes.
what's. Yeah, I mean, like she looks great, but her Elizabeth is not what I would call a going concern in the film. Robert Urquhart he was a fantastic Scottish actor. He was in a ton of stuff where he gave amazing performances. Uh, I do feel that this is not his best work, and it's not his fault. It's the one real weak bit in this film is the screenplay by Jimmy Sangster, who is generally fantastic, and there's some great stuff he gives to Cushing, but Urquhart's Paul Kemp is basically just set there to be the antagonist, and his turn is kind of goofy and not like it doesn't work for me. So that he spends the rest of the movie not eyeing everything the Baron is doing is kind of instead of earned, it's just like, oh well, we got to have an antagonist, huh? So, Peter Cushing, I'm about to say the most edgy thing I have ever said. This is going to trigger some people. And I'm sorry, but I stand by this 100%. Uh, Cushing's Baron Frankenstein is the best series horror villain ever put on film thus far. The absolute best. There's not a single film in the series where he does not bring an A game. And yes, I agree. There are some where they do things that are a bit hinky, but Cushing brings it in every film. He makes this character work in every situation, and he shows I can speak new sides to him in every one, and makes one of the most compelling villains ever put on film. It is a performance that I just don't hear get nearly enough love from the horror community because it is brilliant. It is fantastic. I love Christopher Lee's Dracula. I agree wholeheartedly with Craig when he goes, some people will argue who the best Dracula is, but it's Christopher Lee, and it is Christopher Lee. And if you say otherwise, I'm sorry, you are wrong. Of course, the best Dracula movie overall is Daughter of Dracula, which doesn't have Dracula in it, but that's neither here nor there. I adore Cushing's Baron, and I've been waiting a long time to crack the lid on these, and you guys should expect some others coming at some point in the nearish future. I love them, and I am sorry, Kevin. I love them a lot.
All right.
That's my pre-warning.
So The Dresser from 1983 is about a personal assistant, Norman, who struggles to get a deteriorating veteran actor through a difficult performance of King Lear. I did not love this one, if I'm being totally honest. I see a lot of praise for the performances, but I thought Albert Finney was hammy as fuck to the point that it was actually exhausting to watch him on screen. I mean, it's such an overacted performance. Jesus. Tom Courtney, too. I mean, they weren't technically bad. It's just too much and too stagey, which actually might be the point. So maybe I'm just wrong, but I don't know. Story was fine, I guess. No issues with the story. It's probably pretty accurate in terms of the Shakespearean company, but I love Shakespeare stuff, always have. But this just didn't do it for me. And it being nominated for Best Picture actually kind of shocks me. I mean, visually, it looks like a stage play made for television. It's all very flat and very dull. Pacing is bad. I just expected more from Peter Yates. I love Bullet. I love The Deep. I love The Friends of Eddie Coyle. That movie is amazing. He's a great filmmaker. And while the movie, like I said, isn't really technically bad, it's just very dry and very dull with two very incredibly overacted performances. I usually like Albert Finney, but I could not take his performance in this. It was just too much. The whole movie was just too much for me.
Well, I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off and go immediately after Tyler with this one. I don't totally disagree with him. I like the performances more than he did. I think my problem is I just never cared. I never clicked with it. I think Tom Courtney's character has a lot going on, and I've seen the play. I think the play is excellent. I've seen the what was it? 2015 remake with Anthony Hopkins and Ian McKellen. And that's the better version. I said it. Their performances feel more like people. The problem is I think Albert Finney does absolutely excellent in some spots, especially when he's playing have the memory lapse moments. They're absolutely fantastic. But there are other parts, maybe it's because I've worked a long time in the theater. It just doesn't click with me. They don't ring as humans. They feel like caricatures of stage hanger-ons, and that's my problem. At the end of the day, it just doesn't ring true enough, and I think it's a shame because I think there's a lot here that is solid. Finney and Tom Courtney are excellent, as is uh, Eileen Atkins as Madge. They are fantastic, and they give incredible performances. I just don't think that the the read Peter Yates had them give is all over cohesive. And I can see why other folks would read it differently, but for me it just doesn't come together.
Okay. Um, I was I was ready. I was ready to be bored, deeply bored for this film. I put it on, like, I've never been so prepared to be bored. Like, I turned off all the heavy machinery in my room because I felt it was going to make me drowsy. Like, I'm definitely going to be bored by this film. And I thought it was a borderline masterpiece for me. I mean, a borderline masterpiece, and that thin line that keeps it from masterpiece is purely because I am a cultural black hole. Like, name a book, name a play. I don't even know about King Lear to make the leaps between the man playing him and the character. And there's a lot more I could get from this if I wasn't such a lazy cultural slob, but I am. So, but I still, it came close to masterpiece for me. I'll just do the negative first. There's one negative. Drags a little in the first half, and I don't think that's because it's dull. I think it's because it is hard work in that first half. Like the narrative and the connecting themes are fucking heavy. Like death, sacrifice, legacy. These are like heavy topics, and it kind of grinds a bit in that first. That's it for me. That's all the negative for me. I thought the screenplay was fucking extraordinary. I thought it was fucking incredible. Like it's just below like the rarefied heights of something like Network. It is fantastic. Like I haven't seen which won the Oscar that this one was up for, so I can't say which is better. But also, I'm going to say that this is better. Fuck you, Terms of Endearment. This screenplay really fucking worked for me. I thought it was so quotable and so the way that it connected with the characters, connected with the narrative, connected with the theme. Like there's some great lines. I'm going to do a little quote from that. Imagine coming to the end of your road, finding it frayed. I thought beautiful line. After finding out that a theatre has been bombed out, I made my debut at. Well, they weren't to know. And one of the many I demand oak cleaving thunderbolts, and you answer with storm. It's so witty. Like I could not. I love you, Tyler. I could not disagree more with the idea that it is dry because it is very, very funny to me and very heartfelt, and witty. I can't see it as dry, but also just the whole, like as I said, like the whole script is so completely always in service to the characters and theme. I think it's brilliant. The performances I really were fantastic. I thought Tom Courtenay was great. I thought Edward Fox was great, very droll. I thought Eileen Atkins was fantastic. But for me, it's Finney. Finney, for me, there was a hell of a lot of like truth in Finney's performance. Like I believed everything he was putting out in that performance. I believed it. It twisted when it needed to, and it made me feel wistful, or I just thought it was a really really beautiful performance. But I thought all the performances were beautiful. It's such a kind of, the reason it worked for me was because it's a love story on so many different levels. Tom Courtenay's love, I don't know if it's platonic, but his love for Finney. It's Eileen Atkins, her Finney. There's a scene where they have a discussion backstage with the line, "No, I've not been happy. Yes, it's been worth it." That whole fucking scene is like sensational and just beautifully played and beautifully written.
Dude, if you are reading that as platonic, I have news for you.
Well, perhaps not platonic. And then you got Finney, who's just who loves for work. He loves theatre. He loves Shakespeare, and that's where my connection came from. I don't. You see him at the beginning, like he walks past a man staring at his bombed out house, and he reaches his pocket and he thinks he's going to give this man some money, and he gives him a ticket to the theatre because he thinks that this will heal him. And this is the beginning of the film, and you think, what an awful human being, what a pretentious little shit he is. But Finney takes me on a journey from that beginning of the film to, by the end, I know he did that out of a real kindness and a real feeling, like how he feels about art and how he feels about the art, the difference that he thinks art can make to every man, woman, and child. Like he's awful, but he really feels that he's doing something so meaningful but it really came together in that second half for me. And the ending, that ending is I call it a gut punch line, and it reminds me of the ending of. Sorry, Tyler, I'm going to mention it quickly. It reminds me of the ending of the Rosenbaums. It is a gut punch line because something happens that is simultaneously tragic and hilarious at exactly the same time. Just so perfect. That little smile on his face devastated one of his closest confidants, and it just, the man's such a shit, and yet by the end I adored him. I understand why he did what he did, and I found it to be a beautiful thing. So I absolutely love the dresser, and I really was not expecting to. So thank you, Kevin. I'll seek out that Blu-ray.
Side note,
Okay.
it lost the BAFTA to The Killing Fields, which is a better movie.
Okay. I'm not talking about best picture or anything, but best adapted screenplay. Come on, just give it.
Well, I would politely disagree with Craig there, because I think I watched this and it doesn't get too far into it when I was like, was this based on a play? And obviously looking it up, it really is. And it's really obvious. Now, whether or not you think that's a good play is a different matter, but I think it feels very stagey, even though they try to have a couple of scenes that open things up a bit. I don't think they feel that way. So yeah, I hadn't seen this before. It's another one that I just did a blind buy, and that cast is enough to lure me in. So that's fine, especially Finney and Courtney in the leads. Peter Yates is someone whose work I've enjoyed, and I just thought, well, I'll give this a go. I was actually disappointed by it. It's not one that I can hate because of the I love Finney's performance in this. I think it's great. I do feel the opposite of Tyler on it, because I think it is intentional that way for Finney's performance. But I really didn't like Courtney's performance. I thought he was just completely overdone in a manner that might have worked better on stage if it's someone giving the side to the audience. Like, that's what he felt he was doing in the film. He was always giving the asides to the audience, but it didn't work because it didn't feel natural. It felt overdone. It felt like Courtney was really ramping up the camp, which didn't. I don't think that was necessary. I think it could have been played in a better way. Maybe I know we joke about a lot of films we discuss and say, oh, it was a different time and all that, but maybe in the early 80s, and for this being a period piece set further back, maybe that felt sort of more appropriate and in line and had to be that obvious. But watching it now, I'm just thinking, he could have. I think it could have been more effective with what they were saying to one another and kind of what was unsaid if Courtney had not put that spin on his performance personally. And he never lets up. That is how he views the character, and that is how he sticks with it from start to finish. And that was the thing that really put me off it. Because as I say, I really liked Finney in the main role, and it was a bit of an adjustment at first. He's so just over the top and kind of ridiculous, but then he spends a lot of the movie in his own head, really, despite the fact that he's performing for others or trying to get stage ready. He's in his own head. That's not necessarily by choice, or it's not a good choice. I think that's a good thing for Finney to react to that in a way by just being so all out in his projection and his the turns of phrase, particularly the one that Craig mentioned. That was a great one about the thunderstorms. I did. I loved that. But I don't know. Ultimately, like, I don't know who I would recommend this to. Perhaps just fans of the Leeds and fans of the theatre world. But it kind of has or could be done much better by other people. I mean, you guys won't get this reference. I think Craig will. There's like one or two episodes of Inside Number 9 that are very in line with this.
Yeah.
And
do you
I
think
think that they do it better.
do you think Americans haven't heard of Inside Number 9?
No, I know you've heard of it, but I
Oh,
don't think it was, quite so. By the time it ended, it kind of became a thing for the fan base to grow and people to really check it out. I obviously they are influenced, probably by the
I'm just
dresser
checking. I'm just checking. That's all.
and other things. They always wear their influences on the sleeve, but I think they've done a couple of times. They've done this kind of stuff better. Obviously, it's only a half-hour show, so they don't have to, go for almost 2 hours. But just I wouldn't even say Inside Number 9 is always that subtle, but sometimes it is, and they make it work better. I just think the dresser could have used more subtlety in Courtney's performance and his turn. And if I remember rightly, it's Courtney that is reprising his role from the stage play. And once I'd checked out the information after watching the film, that made sense for him being the one feeling like he's doing the overdone stage play performance, which I could imagine working well in live theatre. But for me, really didn't work well in this film. But I'm glad to have, shared this with Craig. And I don't, I don't resent picking up a disc. And as usual, there's a lot of nice little extras and stuff on here. It's just, I was worried you were all going to hate it. And I'd be like, well, I didn't love it myself, guys.
Well, if you could resent it a little bit more and just post that Blu-ray to me, that'd be fine.
But Craig,
No, I need-
Resent it heavily.
I'd have to do a fleeting edit to a letterbox list and everything. I just don't have that kind of time and energy.
Didn't hate it. I'm aware of the source, and I think the play is better. The 2015 version I think is better. I think it's wiser to keep it inside the theater.
Yeah, like I could imagine it working better as a play, and that would largely depend on, how your two leads are doing.
I do think Craig should check out I'm just curious to see what he'd think compared and contrast, because the 2015 version is just the play filmed.
Okay.
Anyway, it is time to pick one, guys, and for me, it is Frankenstein, because I'm going to say it again, and I will say it anytime anyone asks. Peter Cushing's Baron is the greatest horror villain in film.
Well, I'm going to disappoint you early, Dave. I'm sorry. I'm always honest, and for me, Frankenstein has a masterpiece performance, but there was more that I enjoyed in the dresser.
Yeah, it's Frankenstein for me.
I'm a sweet denier.
It's Frankenstein for me as well.
Dude, after 7 years, man, do you know how many times I picked with Tyler and just got smacked down at the end there. Please, I feel no ill will.
Yay.
This is the time that I asked T to give the business.
And we should
Oh.
pick some films for next week. Or is there a next week?
Oh,
I know
there's a
there will
next
be a
week.
next
I'm
week, but
sorry. It is this week, man. It's been a bad week. I've been off my game all day. So next week, I knew I had to talk to Tyler about something. It's Tyler and Craig picking. So let's hear what you guys got for us.
Well, I'm going with one of my like go-to crime movies. One I could just like pop in anytime. We're watching The Town from 2010, the Ben Affleck heist movie.
okay. And we are going the possibly Tylerific 1991 dark comedy drama. Even Hitler Had a Girlfriend.
Wow. Do you want another pick from me for the special?
Please.
So, because I'm proving that comedy never went away, so we're watching one of them days, and the next pick is Babes, which I believe was last year. Babes.
We're on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesdays, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. Who knows? Maybe Saturday. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and comment and watch Kevin's awesome videos weekly. We have a Discord. We have a Blue Sky. You can always email us at raidersofthepodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for listening. I will talk to you next week.
Catch you next week.
See ya.
See you.